Hey friends, Reverend Pevin here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Far Step. I think I might like this one a little better than you, but you don't hate it, correct?
I don't hate the spell.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive, but it is really cool.
Oh, all right. Reading over your written review, I thought you didn't think it was really cool. I thought just a little cool.
It's neat. It's not
Because I think it's really cool.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
What does it do?
It's a bonus action cast time, 5th level conjuration spell from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. For sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. Thank God it's a 5th level spell slot for warlocks. Anyway, it's got concentration up to a minute. It's got a verbal component. You teleport up to 60 feet in unoccupied space you can see. On each of your turns before the spell ends, you can use your bonus action to teleport again. I think, appearance-wise, it's very cool. I love the idea of blinking around a battlefield. I love the idea of, doing like this on a ranger feels like very much like the plane traveling or plane warden ranger that's like keeping things, celestials and aberrations and stuff off of the material. That's definitely in their realm. This feels like a cool little warlock thing where you're slipping out and out of either the nether realm or, some astral world that your great old one patron's got, or, the literally like just taking shortcuts through hell or through the Fae to get all over the place. It's neat. There's a lot of rich thematic stuff that you can do with Far Step that makes your character really feel alive. Practically, you don't need this. Practically, I don't think this is that much better than like Dimension Door, which is cheaper than this. I don't think it's even like better than Dimension Door. Dimension Door gives you a further teleport, and has less conditions around that teleport. You don't have to see where you're going. Misty Step is way cheaper than this and gives you probably enough of a teleport for the bonus action that you don't necessarily need the Far Step 60-foot one. Granted, if it's going to be costed for a 5th level, there's not a lot more you can give this. I think it'd be a lot better if you didn't need to see where you were going and you could get like shunted if you screw up. But as it is, it's fine. I don't think most characters need to want to cast this, nor will be casting this, specifically because concentration is such a big issue.
Well, I disagree. I think Misty Step and Dimension Door both have different uses than this, as far as I can tell. The meat of Far Step is being able to use it again and again, and what you want to be doing with it is avoiding situations that are going to break your concentration. Hopping around the battlefield. Dimension Door gets you out of there pretty far. That's down some healing potions or whatever, or just keep running. Misty Step works once, but Far Step.
You need to work more than once.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing like yes, you're in this battlefield, especially if you're fighting a bunch of melee creatures or whatever, and you step over here, blam 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 with something else, and they start running at you. Oh, now I'm over here, blam blam blam, and then it's you're playing the game where you keep the ball away from the other kid, except it's only you.
How far do you need to be able to move for that to happen?
Well, it depends on what their speed is and how many of them there are. And
true. How highly do you rate Expeditious Retreat? Because that's 30 feet of extra movement for a bonus action for a 1st level spell slot. And that doesn't seem that much worse than this. Like, why does the teleporting specifically matter there then, right?
Well, because, I mean, if you're in a crowd, or not a crowd, but if there are multiple people on the map, just straight up running is, you're maybe looking at attacks of opportunity or something, getting too close, or I don't know. It's cooler as well.
I agree that it's cooler. No bars there. I think the image you're painting is very thematically satisfying. I think it's very engaging and creative to think about the blinking across the battlefield. You know, I'm on top of the stairs now, throw a firebolt, they start running at me, and now I'm down off the stairs and I'm throwing a lightning bolt, right? There's a neat flavor there. In the game terms, the 60-foot area is quite small. As far as like other spells that can give you those effects, right? Like we talked about earlier, Dimension Door is a 300-foot teleport. And that brings a buddy, and that's going to be used in wildly different circumstances than Far Step. But in the example where, in the example where Far Step is putting you somewhere where you want to be, often you don't want to come down from that spot. Like if you're in a battle map that has any kind of elevated terrain, you being 60 feet or even like 40 feet above something is often going to be enough just to keep you safe. And there are going to be a lot of battle maps, especially with parties where you're playing this as a team, right? You have other people around you where your spacing is going to be determined by what is in between you and other things. It's going to be between where your party members are, what they're engaged with, and how you're navigating that. You very rarely will need to reposition more than once a fight. It is, especially if you're playing with characters that are using things with 120-foot ranges, with 60-foot ranges. You don't necessarily need to be 180 feet away in one spot and then be able to get 90 feet somewhere else the turn after that. Because you remember, you also just still have your move that's free. I think that the realistic use case of this at its best is one teleport. I think that is like where it is actually good, is it takes you to a spot that is bad, puts you 60 feet where you want to be, and then 30 feet based off your movement to manipulate that space however you need to. Getting up to 90 feet away, useful, repositions you to where you want to be. To then think you will need it round after round after round while things are chasing you down, I don't think that happens. I think that is not a way people tend to navigate and play D&D, because they tend to play it on a map. And again, because they tend to play it with a team, your teammates aren't going to be able to do the teleporting thing with you, right? Which means either you're running off on your own and doing the skirmish, which isn't particularly engaging or fun, nor does it necessarily something that monsters can get you to engage with. They might just let you disengage, wait out the minute, and then it's gone. Or you're going to be using it to dance around a battle map that's small enough that you probably have, again, done it with Expeditious Retreat, because there's going to be more spaces unoccupied by monsters than occupied by monsters, so the attack roll retreat doesn't seem to matter that much, especially on ranged characters. I don't know. I think the realism, like actually practically using this, there just aren't enough windows where you're actually getting the needed distance to make it justify. I don't think there's enough times where the teleportation is keeping you away from things. It will sometimes get you away from things when you need to the one time. It'll give you the free disengage as a bonus action. It'll put you somewhere where you want to be. Like I said about Misty Step Adventure, often it's going to be the best spot on the map. You can say, that's where I need to be. That's the height advantage. That's where the cover is. That's where whatever it is I'm looking for, I'm there now. You don't often need to do that more than once. If you ever need to do it twice, okay, this kind of earns a spot. Like, let's say you need to go get a MacGuffin and get back to your party. 30-foot move, 60-foot teleport, you got it. Next, you just hope you survive that round, then you just teleport back and run, and you've moved the 90 feet you needed to, no threat whatsoever. You've got the MacGuffin, you're good to go. That can happen. I don't think it's going to happen that often. And in fact, I think most fights don't care about MacGuffins at all, and this is not going to be valuable in them. Versus, again, Misty Step, Expeditious Retreat. Again, Dimension Door oftentimes is just gonna be like, I get where I need to get. And that's gonna be a lot of time what Far Step is gonna be doing. And all of that, I think, makes this iffy. Concentration's the nail in the coffin for me. If you're a 9th level caster and you need to concentrate on something, especially if you're like using it to navigate a battle, a 60-foot teleport is just movement, and you can do that without concentration still with your bonus action. You can still be doing other things, firing off empowered cantrips, quickening spells, doing other like meaningfully impactful, when I say quickening spells, I mean quickening cantrips, meaningfully impacting a fight in ways that doesn't necessarily require you to waste your concentration on it, and then also concentrate on conjuration magic, and then also concentrate on, bonus action attack stuff if you wanted to. Also concentrate on defensive spells that you might care about to prep for. Like, there are a lot of concentration spells that are way better than this, that have a huge impact on winning a fight. This is a positioning effect that you really can't justify your concentration, I don't think.
Justify it.
You justify it? I will say, absolutely, the fantasy is cool enough to justify using it for players that want that fantasy. It definitely sounds like that's the kind of player you are, right?
Yeah, that's me. Also, I just thought of another fun idea. You're a caster, but you've got this really sweet magic dagger.
Sure.
You don't want to throw it. So you teleport up, stab. Oh no, you run up, stab, and teleport 30 feet away.
And then just rinse
set yourself up and do it again.
Sure. I think maybe that like even outside of the magic dagger thing, maybe there's some warlocks that are doing some melee things that really want to just go in, smash, teleport out, go in, smash, teleport out. It's not going to be a good build, but it will be fun, and you'll probably get your money's worth out of, like, feeling like the cool teleporty, blinky, shadow steppy warlock thing. That could be neat. I don't think it's going to be very good because you're not getting concentration for your bonus damage on hit. You're not getting a lot of the other components that you add into those builds, but it's nifty.
I'll take neat over good almost every time.
Yeah,
I'm not a power gamer.
And I think most people aren't either. I just also will think, I think even in non-power gaming situations, I think you'll do the far step thing and you'll be like, I teleport around and I teleport around and I teleport around, and things just stop caring after the first time you do it. And then you'll start feeling like you're just doing it for no reason in a lot of fights because that you weren't going to get attacked anyway because you'd already positioned to where you needed to be, and they're just going to attack the next closest thing. There's going to be a lot of times where you'll get the fantasy out of it like once, and then every subsequent time after that, you'll just be like, well, I don't know why I'm concentrating on this because I'm just blinking back and forth for no reason. And I think that's going to be kind of a bummer. I don't think it's going to be like something you're asked to use, which is where I'm like, maybe this isn't it.
You're making it sound even better. This is totally the me spell. I'm not effective. I'm just really annoying.
So, sure, okay.
My enemies think, well, I'd prefer that he's not there, but he's not doing much.
Exactly. It is exactly that.
I wish he'd stop that, and I'm zapping all around. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I think we should, in fairness, I've only talked about it in combat. I think out of combat, this has a lot more applications in very specific cases.
I haven't even thought about it outside of combat.
Yeah, they're like being able for a full minute just to blink, blink, blink wherever you need to go. That could be really good. It could open up some neat doors to you. It'll open up similar doors to Dimension Door, especially if you need to like travel as like a far distance. Like consider it takes 5 of these to cover the same distance as one Dimension Door, right? I'm just gonna pull up a Dimension Door, so I'm not talking out my ass. But like it is, I'm always talking out my ass, if we're gonna be honest. In any case, it's still gonna give you a lot of opportunities to do some cool things, to get around to some neat places, to cover some large distances. Oh my god, Dimension Door is a 500-foot range.
Yeah,
it takes you almost the whole duration to do one of a Dimension Door, and you don't even get to bring a buddy, but it gives you the different opportunity to like go through that wall, get to that room, get to that room, get to that room.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as you're going through like windows and doors and stuff.
Go somewhere and come back, then yeah, is this or use 2 Dimension Doors? I think that's worth the trade. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're ever just going in and out of something, 1 5th level slot versus 2 4th level slots, I mean, that's kind of close still, but you'll probably just be happy with the 1 5th level slot and have more things to do with your 4th level slots. It is, teleporting is always fun. I love teleporting very much. Far Step is consistent teleporting. It's not that much better than like any of the lower level options that we've talked about, I don't think. But if you're going to take one and you like this fantasy, you will still get to do the cool teleporting things with it. You don't need to take probably more than this. Like I would never advocate for having this and Dimension Door. You probably just want one or the other. You probably can still just fight Misty Step because it's so cheap, but like one or the other is probably good enough. And then have that be your teleporting nonsense.
All right. We covered everything?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay. What's your rating, Sam?
I think this is a 2. I really do. The reason it's a 2 is because better teleportation spells exist at a lower cost. And that's going to be the practical application of it. This is not something you really can get all that much value out of in combat versus the other teleportation stuff. The other teleportation stuff does more impactful things for their spell level. Having any teleportation at all for a 2nd level slot is great. Having a 500-foot teleport with a buddy for a 4th level slot does a lot of things Far Step can't do. Far Step's repeated usage gives it a small niche that justifies its 2. I think there'll be some times we'd be like, yeah, this is cool, I'm gonna do the thing. But for the most part, like, this isn't that much better than Cunning Action. This isn't that much better than just Expeditious Retreat. And that's a 1st level spell we don't talk about, so.
Your arguments have worn me down a tiny bit. I'm not gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah.
But I'm really tempted to give it a 5 just for how much fun it is.
And I think that's a very meritable point. I think that regardless of how powerful it is, if this is the fun thing, like Bob, you really love this. If this is the fun thing that you like Bob love, play with it. It will be fun for you. If you have fun with it, you're doing it right, regardless of how much of an impact it has. I mean, so long as like that's not the agreed upon table as we're trying to be as effective as possible, right? Make sure you're playing with the
Yeah.
right people for it. But if you have a lot of fun just teleporting around and hitting someone with a club, go for it. It's
I
D&D.
absolutely
Live your
do.
dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Far Step. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, and if you have other fun uses that we didn't cover, please leave them in the comments. That this is one I would very much like to read your opinions. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.